Hello, welcome back to another pen talk. Thanks for tuning in. This is internationally shipped envelope, Royal Mail from the UK, shipped to me in the United States, something I bought on eBay. You know, I've been on a roll with Chinese pens, but you know, my heart and soul still belongs to vintage, and I constantly look at something on eBay that's new and interesting. When I saw this pen, I said, interesting. Here's the auction. So the pen arrived quickly. It arrived safe and sound. Very well wrapped, very well protected within that international envelope that it was shipped in. It comes in a box, which gives away the brand of the pen. So this is kind of an unboxing, and the reason why I'm doing this is to show what I look for on eBay for bargains, how I determine what pen I think I want to buy, and then commit on it. So these just started showing up, at least I just started being aware of them recently. It's a model of Waterman that I wasn't aware existed. So Watermans W5. You know, we know our 52s, our 54s, our 55s. You know, and I know some of the other ones that have been made. I mean, this is obviously a later model Watermans from the 50s. That blue is just phenomenal. Those stripes are excellent. You know, triple cap band here at the bottom. Your box lever, which Waterman used a lot of. You know, I'm certain this is probably that sheet that's rolled up into a tube. What I want to do now is just show you the as received condition. You know, I think this pen is in excellent condition considering the price that I paid. It's not perfect, but I don't expect my vintage to be perfect, and I'm certainly not willing to pay perfect prices considering what I want to do is right with the pen. You know, your classic unscrew cap, a little less than 2 turns. And I'm familiar with Parkers and Conway Stewarts from the 50s that came out of England that have phenomenal, excellent nibs. And, you know, this is also marked with the W5 on it. The nib's not in perfect condition, so I'm going to use my nib tool to line up everything and to put it back in working order. Your classic extremely cut ebonite feed there, your black section. And after exploring all the things with Pen BBS where the sections are made of the same acrylic materials as the body, this is a classic vintage one where these fit in probably many models of pens, and they just use different barrels and caps and different metal bits to distinguish the different models. But I just wanted to show you as received just so you can look at it. I'm going to clean this thing up right away. The first thing I did was decided whether this section comes out, and it comes out very easily. There's no sack. That's been cleaned up. But like I said, I'm going to completely clean it, remove the nib, straighten it up, and put this pen in working order. And we'll take a look at it when it's ready for final assembly. And then we'll put nib to paper and see if this beautiful pen writes as well as it looks. Well, I do like my books. And this is a book I picked up a little bit ago. I just wanted a book that was on earlier versions of Watermans. 2 authors that have specialized in Waterman pens. And there is a nice page here towards the end which calls these 1940 pens. It's a W2, W3, W5. And as you can see, the W5 was as big as any of the pens that they made in that era. I'm not familiar with a lot of these. Maybe they're all from the UK. And if we go over to the other page, we'll see some other pens which I'm more familiar with. But again, There is similarities with the clip design, you know, similarities with color and materials. So this is what I've been able to find. But the pen, I think, is made in the 50s. Like I mentioned earlier, that's one of the things that attracted me to the pen, was that, you know, I have experienced some other pens from the 50s and enjoy them. I've cleaned up the pen, polished it, waxed it. I'm very happy with how it came out. As I mentioned earlier, the pen came to me in fairly good condition. This material has a little bit of a reputation to it. You know, it's a nice celluloid, nice imprint. You know, there's a few flaws here and there. The other thing that I noticed is how there's a black cap here at the end. So the tube, sometimes when they make these materials, they round the tube material off and you see a continuation of it. But here, there's a black plug, probably also made of a similar type of material. That box lever has been around forever by Waterman, and it certainly functions quite well. The triple bands put this pen into the higher end category. That's one of the things that's kind of common with pens made. You know, the vintage pens, the more bands, the higher the quality, and also very similar to that with the UK. So here's a pen which you've seen before, the Conway Stewart 73, which probably competed a little bit with the Waterman pen. You know, similar types of materials, a different look, but quality-wise, they're very, very comparable. And they all have very distinguishing clips on them. You know, you have a jewel on the top versus like a metal finial there. You have your 3 bands, nice blues. You have some decent northern light coming in. So that's comparing it to similar types of pens. But I went through my collection and came up with something, because I think the clip is one of the things that distinguishes this pen from other Watermans. So this is a taper light. I think the Commando also had a similar type of clip. Here it is in gold. Here's another cap that is a similar design but doesn't have those lines, and I think the lines kind of put it into a different category. And I thought we just compare it with some of the more traditional classic Watermans. You know, your riveted clip, that's a newer design on the 92. Then you have your classic riveted clip on, I don't know what this cap fits on. I've never seen one before with the little ferrite at the top. Here's a number 7, which just has a nice little design around the outside, and that's just a classic black cap with a plain chrome clip on it. So hopefully that puts things in perspective a little bit as we get some sunlight now coming in. Let's see if that adds to the appreciation of the pen. I think that light has a big influence on how pens look. I know a lot of people have talked about that. You know, and I know I've been to pen shows and you're in a dark room with, at best, some mild lighting, maybe some fluorescent lighting or some incandescent lighting. But then sometimes when you take that pen that you've bought out into the sunlight, it pops and it becomes a different looking instrument. So here we are with some sunlight on it. Hopefully that helps you appreciate a little bit more this material and the design of this pen. The other thing is there's a little bit of transparency in this material. Obviously, with the fact that it's a bladder fill, that's not going to matter, but I just thought that was interesting that they designed it like that, but they used a filling mechanism that really didn't take advantage of the interesting transparent patterns. I think that adds to the look of the pen when you look at it from the right side. It's always an interesting quandary what ink to use, and definitely a blue ink. So right now I'm very impressed with this blue ink from Krishna. I did a review on these few videos ago, and I felt this was an extremely intense blue, and I felt a pen like this deserves a blue that's equally intense. Yeah, this is the classic 5-inch long pen, or about 122 millimeters. Yeah, it's a little bit small in the hand, which is typical of pens of this era. but it does post deeply and securely, and this is a light pen. We'll give you those weights. So it's very easy to write with this pen posted in it, and it does look nice posted. I mean, the first thing when this nib touches paper is it's incredibly smooth. No effort to write with this pen. And this is a phenomenal blue ink. It really works very, very well in this pen. The nib has a little bit of an angle to it, but it's not anything that impacts it. And it's really not a soft nib. I mean, it'll spread a little bit, but my other nibs, my Conway Stewarts and some of my Parkers from the UK in the 50s certainly are softer, but it feels great. You might hear a little bit of squeak now and then. And let me show you how to actually do a D. So overall, I'm very pleased with this purchase that I made. You know, it's a pen I've never seen before. And as I went back on eBay, there's no more for sale on eBay. So there were a bunch of them. Maybe somebody had a collection or liquidated them or found some. And the fact that I was able to buy it, I think, for a very good price also was nice. And yeah, it required a sack and a little bit of cleanup to it. And it's not perfect, but damn, it's a vintage pen, and it's a nice vintage pen. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed another look at a pen that is interesting, a little bit of history, you know, something from England. So we'll bid you a bye for now. May you have many great, phenomenal, excellent writing experiences. Explore the amazing pen world that we have available to us. Until we meet again, bye.